you've got to know your limitations. Well, I'm gonna give you a few examples. Years ago when I was younger, I thought I was gonna change some plugs and points out in my old truck, and I got busy doing that and I broke a plug off in the engine. I took it to a mechanic who did all of my work, and he cussed me up one side and down the other. He said, "You stick to your praising and I'll stick to this, but don't you ever do this again." Yes, sir. And I learned that I had a limitation there. Working on automobiles was not my gift. Another man decided he was going to drive 300 miles without his oxygen. He was on oxygen, but he got halfway and he died. He had limitations and he refused to get the oxygen because he thought he could make it. So I have a man and his wife, they're in their 90s, and he broke his hip working in his garden, and she had a stroke and couldn't walk, and they wanted to go to the grocery store. So he called me, he says, "I think we can both go if I go with her, because she's been doing the driving, and I'll help her." I said, no, you can't do that. And he said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "You get a Walmart app and you have them bring it to your house. They'll do delivery. And there's several grocery stores that'll do that, but I've been using Walmart for 12, 15 years. And it works very well. Know your limitations. Now, I told him, I said, "Look, if she falls and you try to pick her up and you fall, they gonna be calling me from the store, and I gotta come over and pick both y'all up. And I can't pick either one of you up. Haul you off in an ambulance." All right. So I have many examples like that, and you probably do too, because limitations are very important to pay attention to. Had a attendant of mine, he said, "I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get off of my heart medicine." He was in his middle 60s. And I said, "You're gonna get off your heart medicine?" "Yeah." He says, "I believe I got enough faith to do that." And I said, "Well, you better make sure it's faith and not presumption." Next thing I know, an ambulance is driving up, hauling him off to the hospital. And he had gotten off his heart medicine. Doctor didn't tell him to. It wasn't faith, it was presumption. And there's not even a thin line there. So my point is, you need to know your limitations. Some people are tending to their loved ones at home and they're experiencing burnout and can't figure out why. Well, because doing healthcare 24/7 is one of the most arduous jobs that I know of, and you need some help. You either hire somebody to come in and help your loved one, or you put them in assisted living or a nursing home if they require 24-hour day care. I know some people do it and they stay at home, and when it's all over with, the next thing you know, the person that's having the health problems are the one that was given the health care. All right, and so I've been personally experienced that myself. So I remember when I was a youngster, I could bench press 250 pounds many times, and I could do 75 push-ups in a minute. Well, guess what? I now have limitations because I'm 80 years old. When I try to do a push-up, I can't even hardly get off the floor. My limitation is, if I'm gonna get down on the floor to try to do a push-up, I better have something to help me get up. I have limitations. You're gonna have limitations, and you need to know what they are, or you wind up getting yourself in trouble. Know what they are and pay attention to them. I'm trying to help you, whether you're young or whether you're old, because there's things that you can do, things you should do, and things you're capable of doing, but then there's some things that you're not. And if you're not, you need to get some help, and don't let pride keep you from having a disaster. One lady was walking across the floor with a cane, and she had gotten some kind of rare disease, and she was real unstable. Next thing I know, she hits the floor. I run over there to try to get her up, and we have several people. We pick her up, and she gets going again. So I went and told her, I said, "Look, do not go anywhere without your walker." I said, you may think it's vanity or something like that, or your ego or your pride, that you don't want to be seen walking on a walker, but you need to know your limitations, because you need something that's more stable than that, a little bitty cane. Now, I don't know about y'all, but it's a serious problem. When I had eye problems driving at night, I had a friend of mine had gotten an eye operation, and what she had done, and she tried to drive in her road to her house, and she was more than 100 yards away from her road. She didn't even know where she turned. So she went and got the eye operation. She did fine. I went and got the eye operation, and now I'm see 20/20 out of both my eyes, and I kept going as long as I could go without that and without glasses. I had terrible vision. So got the eye operation. I'm doing good, and I don't have those blaring lights and sunspots at night when I'm driving down the road. I see clearly. Know your limitations. And once you come to a place where you can no longer do what you used to do, it's time to make changes. Okay? I love you guys. Last story. David, who killed Goliath, you remember, and got 5 stones to kill his brothers if necessary, wound up running from King Saul, because Saul wanted to kill him because the people favored David, and Saul hated him. And David ran away from him. Guess where David went? He went to the Philistine camp in Gath. And when he went to Gath, King Achish looked at him, and he was slobbering and pretending like he was insane. He said, "This man is insane. I got plenty of crazy people around here. I don't need one more." And so they let David live. He was in the camp of the Philistines where Goliath was a hero. And they could have easily killed him, but because he faked insanity. Now, that has to be the low of the low right there, to be able to do something like that, but he needed to know his limitations. He couldn't fight Saul. Saul was going to kill him. He couldn't just walk in the Philistine camp because they would have killed him. So he had to do something that was probably beneath what he would have ordinarily done. Fake insanity. And he got out of it. Know your limitations. Okay, last story. God bless you guys, and I love y'all. Be smart. Know your limitations. Love you, God. God bless you. Bye.